Hello and welcome to Fox Gaming. Today I'm going to show you how I paint Dwarf Warriors from the Kingdom of Khazad-Dûm army list. Let's get right into it. I have already glued sand to the base using PVA glue and primed the model black. This saves me time, as the sand is going to be paint black anyway. I then dry brush the sand using Dawnstone. This way I don't get any grey onto the miniature after I painted it. The first base coat I use is Balthasar Gold, which is not a gold color but more a brass in my opinion. This goes on the body armor of all the dwarves as well as on the rim and the middle of the shields. Now that is done, I move over to Rhinox Hide. This color is used to paint in the boots, belts, pouches and arrow shafts. Some of the models have some arm sleeves that also is painted using this color. Some of the sleeves will be a different color. This is because the models are sculpted differently and it looks the best in my opinion. Next, I paint all of the beards and hair with Dawnstone. The dwarves will have different colored beards using contrast paints, so this is a base for those colors. Dawnstone is also used for the fletchers on the arrows for the same reason. Leadbelcher is the next color and will be used for the metal plates on the helmets as well as the tips of the arrows, axe heads, belt buckles and for the few models that have chainmail. The skin was painted using Bugman's Glow. The only skin that is showing on these models is the face and hands. After this, I use Retributor armor to paint in the helm trim and the clasps on the brass armor, as well as the tip of any sheaths, pommel and hilts of any knives in their belts. Next, I use Cygor Brown contrast paint to darken and shade the brass armor and leather pieces. I found that Agrax Earthshade didn't have enough pigment in it to make an impact on those areas, although a plain Cygor Brown had too much, so I had to water it down a little bit to get the desired look. I then use Nuln Oil to shade the silver metal parts on the miniature. This gives the helm a nice line between the silver and gold details. The beards and hair as well as the fletchers on the arrows was then highlighted with white scar to further prep it for the contrast paints. For the army color that ties the whole army together, I used Gretchen Green Foundation. This is an old color that is no longer in production as far as I know. This is where you can choose the color scheme of your army. If you don't have the color I use, just find a suitable substitute of a different color altogether. I think a blue color would be nice for a Balen army. If you know of a green color that is similar to the Gretchen Green color, please leave a comment about it, I would really like to know. Raigland Flesh Shade was used on the gold and skin details. This makes the gold a little reddish and the skin gets some more depth. Nazdrag Yellow was used to paint over the fletchers on the arrows. Now it's time to paint the beards and hair. Finally, I used 6 different contrast paints for this, as I believe variation on the dwarf here makes them look a lot cooler when displayed together. This is Nastrag Yellow, Black Templar, Griffhound Orange, Gorgrant of Fur, Blood Angels Red, and Garrick Sewer. Next I use Agrax Earthshade on the beards and hair to give it some more depth. Now let's handle the black areas. Firstly, I highlighted with Corvus Black. This was painted over a large area of the weapon shafts, some cloth areas directly associated with the body armor, the backside of the shields, and the bows. The same areas was highlighted again using Ashen Grey, but this time it's more of an edge highlight. Next, I mix together Rhinox Hide and Screaming Skull about 50-50. This is used to highlight the brown areas. I then mix Gretchen Green and Screaming Skull about 50-50. This is used to highlight the green areas. If you have used another color, just use that instead of Gretchen Green. When that is done, I highlight the flesh with Cadian Flesh Tone. Now it's time to highlight the metal. The silver parts is highlighted with Iron Breaker. I then mix together Genos Gold and Ironbreaker about 60-40 in favor of Genos Gold. This is then used to highlight all of the brass and gold armor. The rim of the base was painted Mournfang brown to match the rest of my army. If you want, you can end it here. I will try to go the extra mile and paint in the eyes of the miniature. Firstly, I paint a black area in the eyes and follow it up with 2 white dots in each eye. And there it is. The models are complete. I'm looking forward to using them in my games. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to follow the channel, I really appreciate it. And leave a comment if you have any questions. Until next time.